Hello, everyone. Good day. Hope you're doing well. Just want to give a little update video here. I guess, I'm going to be doing these things kind of daily, and I'm hoping that they're just really short videos, basically saying, just kind of going over the moves of the stocks that I'm playing. And it's really just Microsoft Microvision, and I guess it just ties into SPY. Um, I'm, I am thinking about GameStop still because earnings are close. I haven't really done that much. I haven't looked into the chart that much. But I'm thinking, right, before I did this video, I just kind of did a makeshift downtrend here. I think that's sort of valid, and it goes way back to earnings in June, and it looks like it's being pretty respected, and we've entered it now. So the interesting thing about this is that earnings are on the 6th, and this could come down to I think AMC, I think AMC just is in a terrible spot right now. So AMC could just keep digging down, and I'm going to assume that GameStop will do the same thing. It's interesting though because this is a pretty big move that it has to make to hit the bottom of this trend, and I don't, my general market outlook is bullish. So I'm wondering if there's going to be something news related here. I'm not too sure, so I'm going to keep my eye out on that because it could intersect with my Microvision play and my Microsoft, just the plays in general. And there's got to be some reason for it to dig down that much. So I'm thinking some kind of report will come out or something. I don't know. But very well could see it dig down and then maybe run sideways. And then that's, that I think I'm going to play shares. I'm not going to go options. It's too scary. Every time I go calls on GameStop, I lose no matter what. Even like I might be up in the moment, yes, but then it'll just do a quick turnaround and I'll get screwed. So um, I'd rather take that on with shares than within options. So going back to the real play here, I'm feeling basically just a 0 day. I was up here, but I don't want to scalp. I want to hold it. I want to see it through, because there is a possibility here that if I scalp this, I take profit at this area. Well, then who's to say that it could continue to go up? This isn't SPY, right? Which was just sideways all day. This is an asset here, and it could do its own thing and just continue to run up. It could carry SPY, and everything else could be red, but Microsoft could be green. So there's too many uncertainties here, and I wanted to just hold and see it through. So it looks like it went above this supply zone. I think I think there's a supply zone, so it went above it, and I was like, okay, well, it's got to retest it. It came down, kind of looked like a scary top of like Head and Shoulders possibly, but then it continued to dig down, which invalidated it, in my opinion. So, this candle close was right above that, the bottom of this zone, and came down again, bounced off of it, and it closed above it, and then in after hours were below it. So in my mind, I think still bullish, right? And I think it's okay for me to have hope still, right? The scary thing is that it's below the diagonal, but it's extended hours trading, so I'm hoping that it just gaps up, right? That's honestly, it has to. That's the thing, it has to gap up tomorrow. So, And I'm not looking for anything crazy, right? Because SPY is on that edge as well, right? Just connecting, just doing a parallel, yeah, a parallel line or a channel, and then connecting these tops here, and then putting the bottom of that channel, right? Finding a relative spot for this line. You can see it's holding pretty well. If it gaps down, it'll be pretty bad, but I'm hopeful, right? It just keeps treading on that edge, and GDP report on Wednesday, and based off of the master sequence, like there's a lot of room to go here. People are saying it's too high, it has to pull back. No, it really doesn't. The pullback in the master sequence took place. This was it. This was the pullback. In the past, this was like a 1%. This was a ginormous move in the past. Considering how large the fractal is, this pullback should have taken days, in my opinion, but the structure formed in one day, which is just ironic. It doesn't make any sense, but the structure appeared here, and there is no more pullback until the top. It's just kind of chop and all-time high, right? And it has a lot of room to go still, right? I mean, all-time high is above 467, and FOMC, it's 2 weeks away. So, I think the top is when it hits this red line. So it really has a lot of room. There's not a lot of time. I don't think this looks a little unbelievable. I was hoping for a nice move today, but didn't get that. Honestly, I'm really hoping that the GDP report is what becomes the squeezer here, and the PCE report the next day. I think this might be the path. I think this is it right here, right? And then it drops into, maybe it hits, look at this, hits the channel perfectly, right into FOMC, come right up under that line, FOMC comes out, they raise rates, boom, bye-bye, you know what I mean? All this movement gets completely eaten up. So that's what I'm looking at. I really want to see a retest of this of this momentum line one last time, right? And so that's kind of the expectation. And considering Microsoft is one of the largest assets of this S&P 500, I'm pretty confident that we see some really big moves here. And I'm not too sure about this top limit channel, but I mean, this would just be so incredible for me. And I think regardless, right? Even if I move this line down and it does something like this, if it comes down after hitting this, that's 186. I mean, that's still decent for me. That's still good. That's still okay. So I'm feeling really good about this. I think we just need to see a gap up tomorrow, and we just need to go sideways. Just chop into chopping. Based on the move, based on where it has to go, it should be a pretty big day tomorrow. Honestly, it should come up to it should honestly come above the trend here. It should go up 1% tomorrow. And then it should close or end the day retesting the top here. The report comes out, boom, really bullish, comes back down. PCE report, boom, really bullish, and then it just melts up the rest of the week. That way, next week you can hit this line, and that'll do really well. So then that kind of goes back to the question of well, that means GameStop's going to dig down during this movement, and if that's the case, then you already know that buy orders are going to be stacked up during this moment, right? So if it's going to inverse the market, then I think earnings are just guaranteed to be good. AMC is really low. It could continue to dig down more, and then it'll run with GameStop earnings, and then you have 6 days after earnings into FOMC. That gives the stock plenty of time to reach some considerable levels, especially 18. I really want to see 18 hit before the market corrects. So, if you can get in on at the bottom here on the retest. So like, if you don't know, or if you can't draw this trend line, I mean, think about $11 buy-in. That'll be a crazy opportunity. And if it comes up to that 18 level, I mean, just, you know what I mean? If you want to play options, go for it, But I mean, that's just, it's not going to hit 18 off earnings. I doubt that. I very much doubt that. I think at the most at this point, because it's so low, probably hit 16 off earnings. And then the next few days it'll hit 18. And then, maybe it'll just keep going. Maybe because the sentiment will be so good, maybe it does go to 20, like in my other video, right? And that's just great. So that'll just be great for shares, because then it just takes away the stress of options. So I'm really hoping to make good money off of Microsoft, and then I can put that profit into GameStop earnings, and then I can get out before FOMC and then put that into puts on SPY, where my target is this gap here at 411. There's a couple of things that we have to hash out, but I think it's going to be a two-leg drop. So, bears are really gonna have to swallow their pride when it comes down to like here, right? Like 422. So it'll make this like 7% drop in a week or something. And then after that, it'll retrace pretty high. And then that's where it will make its final move, something like that. So, if everything plays out according to plan, we hit this momentum line, right? We hit the 470s before FOMC. We drop heading into FOMC, and we drop as crazy as this, right? Then that this master sequence I'm talking about is pretty valid, right? So then expect the two-leg drop, right? Take profit and wait for a bounce, and then, position accordingly. So, it's things to think about. Microvision is what I'm going to end it with. I think it looks pretty solid. It has to make some pretty big moves here, considering the market correction. So it looks like what it's going to do is, after the GDP report, if it wants to line up with the sequence with its own master iteration, then it'll come up and hit 5 maybe by next week, before, I don't know. I mean, it might just slow grind up to 3, but that's just the target. I really don't want to be in this play anymore. I think Microvision is just one of those things where I want to wait for a share position, and this daily gap at 1.99 is very suspect to me. So definitely I just want to wait until 3, get out at 3. I'll hold 1 or 2 for 5, who knows, right? But 5 technically is possible here. Whether that's the end, I don't know. It's tough. Will Microvision be able to ignore the correction? Possibly, but it all comes down to FOMC. No one thinks they're gonna raise rates. I'm telling you, they're gonna do it. You don't even need fundamental knowledge. It's just kind of like quantitative reasoning, really. So things are looking pretty solid on my end. It's still following. Everything's very close, very, very close. We need a big day tomorrow, honestly. And if we don't get that big day, then we could gap down a little bit, kind of just grind up a little bit more. And I'm fine with chop like this. If it wants to do that, then that means the GDP report's going to be a big surprise, or PC is going to be a big surprise or something, right? And that's going to burn a lot of people. So, whatever your position is, I hope you do well. And until next time, peace.